This is a video for beginners in English. I will describe some holidays I have taken. If it is helpful, please share the video with other people. Last year, my friends and I had an awesome beach holiday on a beautiful island in Greece. We stayed in a lovely white villa, which had breathtaking views of the sea. Each morning, we woke up to the sound of the waves and the warm sunlight streaming through our windows. After enjoying breakfast on our terrace, we left the villa to relax on the beach. For lunch, we ate the most delicious seafood served at the waterfront restaurants. We ate mountains of grilled octopus, fresh fish, and traditional Greek salads while enjoying the views of the sea. We went to different beaches every day. Big beaches and small beaches. Some that were very busy and some that were almost empty. The water was always calm. We spent our days lying on the soft sand and swimming in the clear waters. On one day, we visited a nearby town. It was old and had narrow streets and white houses covered in colorful flowers. We walked around for hours, looking in shops and enjoying the beauty. We took lots of photos of our visit. On our holiday, we spent our evenings watching the sunsets, which were magical. As the sun went down, the sky was filled with many colors. We drank glasses of local wine, talked about our day, and made plans for the next day. We really didn't want to leave at the end of our holiday. We loved the beauty of the island and the delicious food, and we immediately made plans for our next trip. I will talk about a sightseeing holiday to Rome. Last year, I went on an unforgettable sightseeing holiday to the city of Rome with my friends. We saw ancient wonders, ate delicious food, and made unforgettable memories that will last a lifetime. When we arrived in Rome, we checked into a cozy hotel in the center of the city, within walking distance of many of Rome's attractions. On our first day, we visited the Colosseum. This massive building was built thousands of years ago and is still standing strong. In ancient times, it was like a big sports arena, except that instead of playing football there, people fought. People were often killed. The whole of Rome is filled with ancient buildings, the ruins of temples, arches, and columns. It is incredible to think of the amount of history that has taken place in the city. While we were in Rome, we took a trip to the Vatican City, the spiritual and cultural center of the Catholic Church. We spent an entire day exploring the Vatican museums, which were full of art from different times in history. In between sightseeing, we ate a lot of Italian food at charming restaurants and pizzerias, and we drank glasses of locally produced wine. We had lively conversations about the amazing city we were visiting. One of the best bits of our trip was a guided tour of the famous Trevi Fountain, where we made wishes for good luck. As the sun set over the city, the fountain was lit up by lights. It was very beautiful. Our sightseeing holiday in Rome was full of adventure, discovery, and friends. We enjoyed the rich history and culture of this timeless city. When we boarded our flight home, we knew we had made good memories on our holiday. I will talk about my local holiday in Cornwall. Last summer, I went on a local holiday to Cornwall, a beautiful place in the south of England. It was a special trip because I had never been there before. I was excited to explore a new place. I arrived in Cornwall by train. As soon as I stepped off the train, I could feel the fresh sea breeze on my face. I checked into a cozy hotel near the beach. The owner was very friendly and gave me lots of information about things to do in Cornwall. She told me about the beautiful beaches, the villages, and the delicious seafood restaurants. The next morning, I woke up early. I walked along a coastal path, looking at the stunning views of the cliffs and the sea. The water was a beautiful blue, and I could see birds flying overhead. One of the highlights of my trip was visiting St. Ives, a pretty town which is famous for its sandy beaches and art galleries. I spent the day walking along the streets, enjoying the colourful houses and looking in the shops. I also visited an outdoors theatre next to the sea. I saw a performance of a Shakespeare play while I was there. Another day, I took a boat trip to the Isles of Scilly, a group of beautiful islands near Cornwall. The boat ride was wonderful, and I saw dolphins swimming alongside us in the water. When we arrived on the islands, I spent the day walking along the sandy beaches, feeling like I was in paradise. Another place I visited in Cornwall was the Eden Project, a place that grows plants from all over the world in giant greenhouses. It was interesting to learn about the different plants and to see them up close. Whilst in Cornwall, I ate well in some of the seafood restaurants that are there. And Cornwall is famous for its ice cream, so of course I had to try some. In the end, I think I had ice cream every day of my holiday. On my journey home, I thought about all the amazing experiences I had in Cornwall. It was a holiday to remember. I will talk about my last holiday, which was a city break in Barcelona. Last year, I went on an exciting city break to Barcelona with my best friend. Our holiday was filled with culture, good food, and unforgettable experiences. We flew to Barcelona, traveling in economy class. It cost less than business class. When we arrived in Barcelona, we found a city that was both modern and traditional. We checked into a charming hotel in the center, just a walk away from famous landmarks. On our first day in Barcelona, we explored the city's buildings, starting with a visit to the famous and awe-inspiring Sagrada Familia. It was designed by Gaudí and is an enormous and magnificent church which people from all over the world go to visit. Then we went to Park Güell, another place that Gaudí made that's very special and important. It's on a hill and has lots of beautiful buildings and pictures in it. We walked around the gardens for a long time, looking at the pretty statues. In between sightseeing, we enjoyed eating in Barcelona, trying food at small tapas bars and family restaurants. We ate crispy potatoes, fried squid, and tasty meat. It was delicious. Our whole city break in Barcelona was a celebration of culture and the arts. We visited the Picasso Art Museum, which has one of the biggest collections of Picasso's work, and we explored the street art in the city. We went to a flamenco dancing show where we were amazed by the passionate performances of the dancers and musicians. Our trip was brilliant with art, music, and culture. We are already planning our next trip. I will describe a camping trip I went on last year. Last year, my family and I went camping in France. We stayed there for 2 weeks and it was really fun. In fact, it was one of the best trips we have ever taken together. We drove a long way to get to the campsite, but we played games and ate snacks in the car to pass the time. When we arrived, we set up our tents near a stream on a pretty campsite with lots of trees. During the day, we explored the area by walking in the forest and riding our bikes on the quiet roads. We found cute little villages and nice lakes. One day, we went to a nearby town to try some delicious French food like pastries and pancakes with strawberries and cream. We sat in a cute cafe and watched the people walking by. At night, we sat around a campfire, toasted marshmallows, and talked about our day. Then we slept in our sleeping bags inside our tents. We loved hanging out at the campsite. This was not a trip to visit big cities like Paris and see famous places like the Eiffel Tower. On this trip, we just relaxed in hammocks, read books, and enjoyed spending time together. When it was time to leave, we packed up and said goodbye to our campsite. We felt sad to go, but happy for all the fun memories we made. On the way back to England, we thought about all the adventures we had in France. It was a special trip that we would always remember. I will describe a hiking trip I took last year. Last year, I went hiking in the Lake District with my friends. It was an exciting trip that we had been planning for a while. We set off early in the morning, driving through the pretty countryside to get there. The Lake District is famous for its beautiful scenery with big mountains, clear lakes, and green valleys. During our trip, we walked on different paths, each with its own challenges and amazing views. One day, we climbed Scafell Pike, the highest mountain in England. It was tough going up, but when we reached the top, we could see really far. We could see lots of hills and shiny lakes all around us. Another day, we walked around Buttermere Lake. We followed a path beside the lake and saw the mountains reflected in the water. We stopped for lunch by the lake and watched boats going by. One of the best parts of our trip was finding hidden waterfalls. We followed small paths through the trees until we heard rushing water. Then we found waterfalls with water falling over the rocks. It was like magic. We saw lots of animals during our trip too, like sheep and birds. We even saw some deer in a field, which was really cool. When our trip ended, We thought about all the fun things we had done. Hiking was hard work at times, but it was worth it for the amazing views and the time spent with friends. When we packed up to leave, we knew we would always remember our trip to the Lake District. It was a special place full of adventure and natural beauty. Okay, your turn. Where did you go on your last holiday? Tell me in a comment below the video.